I'm going to illustrate exactly why California-style gun control fails every time, everywhere. You see, California has the strictest gun laws in America. 10-day waiting periods, universal background checks on every gun sale, background checks on every drop of ammunition, assault weapon bans, red flag laws, bans on standard capacity magazines, an 11% tax, the first in the nation, on every gun and every bullet and every box of ammunition. And starting this year, Californians are going to have to notify their insurance companies that they own a firearm. And last night, a man from California nearly killed the President of the United States with guns. Guys, my name is Bob, and this is the Idaho 2A News. Today, I want to talk about the weapons that this gunman used, why California gun laws are just an expensive joke, and it burdens the innocent and stops no one who's determined to carry out a crime. How the same institutions that are screaming for more gun control help build the culture that produced this man. So let's go. Tomas Allen, 31, Torrance, California, Caltech mechanical engineering grad, master's in computer science from Cal Dominguez Hills, part-time teacher at a tutoring center, teacher of the month in December of 2024. Quiet, unremarkable, no criminal record. His weapons? A shotgun, purchased legally in California, August 2025. A semi-auto handgun, purchased legally in California, 2023. Confirmed by 2 law enforcement sources to CBS News, he passed California's universal background check 2 times. He waited the mandatory 10 days 2 times. He was checked for red flag laws that were never triggered. So this determined individual, he booked a room at the Washington Hilton as a registered hotel guest, the same hotel that the Washington Press Correspondents Dinner was being held at. He brought both weapons in his luggage. He assembled the shotgun in his room. At 8:36 p.m., he charged a Secret Service magnetometer checkpoint in the lobby. 5 to 8 shots fired. 1 agent hit in the chest, saved by his body armor. Allen tackled and arrested. He told investigators he wanted to shoot Trump administration officials. Law enforcement says he didn't plan to walk out alive. This was his plan from the very beginning. Every single gun law that was followed in California, not one of them mattered. Guys, California is ranked as number 1 for the strictest gun laws in the nation every year by every major gun control group. And yet, a California man legally bought his 2 guns, transported them across the country, and nearly killed the president. Let's talk about what all those laws actually do. Well, what they actually do is they burden the law-abiding, you and I. California's own data showed that in 2021, more than half of the crime guns, I love that term, recovered and traced by law enforcement there in California came from other states. Their laws stop at the California border, and they know it. And research shows there is no consistent relationship between strict gun laws and lower violent crime. The states with the most restrictions are not reliably safer because criminals, they follow the laws. That's the definition of a criminal. What California laws do effectively is make it harder, more expensive, and more invasive for people like you and I, the law-abiding gun owner, to exercise a constitutional right. That's the point, and California admits it. Now, here's where it connects directly to Cole Allen and to the teachers' unions, because the loudest voices for California-style gun control in this whole country are the National Education Association and the American Federation of Teachers. Together, 5 million members. Between 2022 and 2024, they spent a staggering $43.5 million in member dues funding far-left political organizations. The AFT directed 99.9% of its political contributions to Democrats, not 60%, not 80%, 99.9%. Freaking insane. These aren't teachers' unions anymore. These are now political machines. And what they're doing with that institutional power, they ran training sessions for teachers on, and I quote, dismantling systems of privilege and oppression. Their 2025 Teacher of the Year declared at the National Convention that teaching is deeply political and activism comes before academics. In 2019, the NEA voted against a resolution that would have made student learning their top priority. Let that sink in. The National Education Association, or whatever they call them, the teachers' union, voted against a resolution that would have made student learning their top priority. The teachers' union's goals, they want to disarm you, and they're using their classrooms and their training programs to produce people who believe that conservatives are fascist, that the system is illegitimate, and that political opponents are actual enemies. Cole Allen was a teacher inside that world. They didn't hand him the shotgun, but they helped build a worldview that put him in that hallway. Now, last night didn't happen in a vacuum. Here's what's happened to this president in under 2 years. July of 2024, Butler, Pennsylvania. Thomas Crooks fired from a rooftop, AR-style rifle. He killed a spectator and grazed President Trump's ear. Secret Service shot him dead. Good. September 24, West Palm Beach. A guy named Ryan Ruth hid for 12 hours in the bushes at Trump's golf course with an SKS rifle. He got spotted and he was stopped. Got sentenced to life in prison February of this year. 2024, also an Iranian IRGC-backed murder for hire plot. A Pakistani national paid undercover agents that he believed were hired assassins to kill Trump. He got convicted March of this year. February 2026, Mar-a-Lago, 21-year-old breached security on Trump's property carrying a shotgun and a gasoline canister. Secret Service agents once again shot and killed this guy, as they should have. And now, April 25th, 2026, the Washington Hilton, Cole Allen. No modern president has faced this volume of attempts. I don't think there's been a president in the history of the country that has faced this volume of attempts. And in nearly every domestic case, the weapons were legally obtained or the laws simply didn't stop what happened. More laws couldn't have changed a single one of these outcomes. And here's the bottom line. A man from the strictest gun law state in America legally bought 2 firearms, followed every rule that California had on the books, and still nearly was able to kill the President of the United States. California laws failed, not because they weren't enforced, but because they were never designed to stop a bad actor. They were designed to burden you and I. And the same institutions that are demanding more of those laws, the teachers' unions, the activist organizations, the socialists, the communists, they're the ones that are building the culture that tells people political violence is justified if it's used against conservatives. And that's not a coincidence. That is the agenda. Now, here in Idaho, we know what the Second Amendment is for, and it's not for hunting, and it's not for clay shooting. It's about a free people having the right to defend themselves from crime, from tyranny, and from exactly the kind of political violence that is happening in other states around this country. And we intend to keep our Second Amendment and keep it strong. Now, you know what? In the next 48 hours, you're going to hear all kinds of calls from all kinds of lefties about more gun control. They're going to blame, I don't know what they're going to blame. They'll blame the Glock. They'll blame the shotgun. They will not blame this guy for doing what he did. And they certainly won't blame the teachers' unions and the liberal organizations that put this stuff into this guy's head and led him to believe that his only option was to commit suicide by assassinating a sitting president. Don't let them use the moment. The man who pulled the trigger, he already followed every gun law they passed, and yet he still did it. The problem is the culture. And the answer is to stay informed, stay involved in your community, and stay armed. I'm Bob, and this is the Idaho 2A News. If this is valuable at all, please like it, share it, and hit that subscribe button. And we'll see you next time.